to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Stuart Booth.
I'm Jack Luffman.
We are in a lovely little room at Studio One. As you can see, it is slowly, well, give it 3 minutes, it'll be pitch black.
Yeah, it just always goes, doesn't it?
They've
Studio One Hotel. There we go.
Free promo there. They give us a really small room. We're currently sat, we can only describe as a function room, which could host easily 100 people.
Yeah, this is actually where we had actual dinner, Stuart,
excellent,
a couple of weeks back. So yes, there we go.
Right, so on today's podcast, we're going to be talking Premier League, we're going to be talking cricket. Jack's already on a rant already, and I've only just arrived. He's peppered me here about something to do with cricket, so I'm really looking forward to this. And we're also going to have a little bit about what's going on with you at the moment, because I do believe the Wanderers are playing right now.
I'm just checking there, yeah. So we're in the Ultra final against ABCCC. They've got the missed a couple of letters out there, haven't they?
Yeah, it's usually A, B, C, D, E.
Anyway. And they are 117 for 3 with 6 overs left. So I would say the boys are fairly happy with that.
Okay, so what cup's this then?
So this was an additional kind of midweek league, as meant to be, that we entered, oh my goodness, just as the 2 Saturday or the 2 weekend leagues were coming to an end. But let's not say too much about the organisation of this particular competition
or any
organisation
of any competition in Dubai.
It was meant to be like a 10 league team, which ended up in I think 4 or 5. One team dropped out. Another one game got rained off. We won 1, lost 1, got 1 rained off. Ended up in a quarter final. Won the semi final and the final. But it's actually taken about 5 months.
Oh, geez.
So, at one point we didn't think it was ever going to happen. But obviously it has. So that's good, and we're in the final. So hopefully the boys will be in that home, because we've got a decent side out, well, a good side out. But looking at their side, they've got a good side out. Ali Dogger is an ex or current first class cricketer in India. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, they're doing that. So, but of course we are going for a few friendly drinks later, which is why I'm not playing. Although I don't know if I'd have been selected, actually, if I'm honest.
Well, didn't want to mention that. You were using this as a bit of an scapegoat, but we'll leave that there. But yeah, it's, Matty Odrid is leaving Dubai, so we have a little bit of a Saturday fun group.
Yeah.
The prediction group, which Jack and Matt failed miserably on, and I think all around about 4 months between the two of you.
I think so.
In outstanding fees, so we'll see what happens tonight then, shall we? I believe Matt's got a few games lined up.
Yeah, I think he's trying to earn it back to you.
Probably.
He keeps changing the goalposts.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there, but that'll be exciting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. Come on, have you won the league? Golden Boot, what's going on? Right,
so we have got. So I think last time we did this a couple of weeks ago, league was done and dusted. Dubai FC finished that off last night, which I think for all teams' perspective, it's a bit disappointing, because 2 of their last 3 games have been walkovers. So they picked up 3 points against Maserati, who pulled out of the league, so they got 3 points from that. And then Kickers didn't play us, so we got 3 points from that. Kickers then didn't play them, got 3 points from that. So it's kind of been like a little bit of a finish the season.
It's true what they say about Dubai. It's very flaky at times.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that Kickers, arguably, when they've got the full team out, they've beaten us already this season. We've beaten them in the cup, we beat them. Well, we've got the walkover and they beat us in the league, but they've got a very good team. So the only benefit I've had from this is Kickers missing so many games, is that their 2 best strikers are the ones that were chasing me. But the good news is there's 2 games left. Boo's currently on 20, they're both on 15.
Oh, you're all right then.
But the most important news is Stuart Boo's on 20, Harry Booth finished on 19.
Oh,
but
Harry, lad.
He's not happy. He's now asking for goals to games ratio. And I'm like, look, mate, I didn't play all my games as centre forward. You only play centre forward. I played centre back a couple of games, midfield 3 games, but he's still adamant. So I've worked it out. In the last 2 games of the season, if I score 5, it's exactly the same goals to game ratio. If I score 6, he has got no excuse at
there
all.
We go. And it's going to be warm though, because the boys were saying tonight, like 42 degrees. It was at the ground.
Yeah.
We got there for a 6 o'clock start.
Yeah, well, it's currently showing now, even though it looks pitch black outside, it's 35, but with humidity, we're probably talking 38 at the moment.
Yeah,
so
humidity's gone up again the last couple of days, right?
It's a warm one, that's for sure. But let's all in all. But before we disappear and move on, congratulations to Dubai FC, worthy winners. Got some good lads in that team. Good lad that we particularly know. Well, Jack's
Oh yeah, colleague.
Absolutely love the guy. Works at Metropole. I've worked a bit with Jax, but great player, good lad, nice guy. Generally, just all round.
Good looking rooster as well, isn't he?
Oh, he's horrible. Yeah. You know, like makes me throw up every time I look at him. But yeah, well, congratulations to Dubai FC. You've won the league. But we'll not
next year, come back bigger, stronger.
We'll look for next year.
And a bit older
from there. But right, we're gonna let you have your rant about cricket because I can see you. You can see the steam coming out of your ears. So let's start with the cricket. What's upset you so much this week, Jack?
So they've announced the squad for the Ireland Test match, but feasibly for the summer.
See, this is my argument about cricket. Is you claim that Test matches are so important, and yet you're playing Ireland.
It's a full tennis playing nation. Anyway, let's not get into the.
It's another friendly.
So they've picked a 15-man squad, like I said, feasibly for the summer. Because, for example, the issue I have is Ben Folkes has been left out of the squad, wicketkeeper, who this time last year, Ben Stokes, captain, said he's the best gloveman in the world. Fact, he's been the best gloveman in the world for probably 5 years. But England obviously had this obsession with Bairstow and Butler keeping and all that jazz. But anyway, by the way, so he's had a 9-run test match of test matches in which he's done really well. Won test matches, got another test match 100. I think he averages just shy of 40 in test match cricket as a batter at 7.
Very impressive.
So decent. And of course, Bairstow over the winter was injured. Freak golfing course incident. I know a bit more to that, but I won't share it. And he's come back finished. Now, I've not got a problem with Bairstow in the squad, in the team, because while I'm not his greatest fan as a person, and up until last summer, I still think the jury would have been out on him as a test match player. But under this new era, batting at 5, superb, probably arguably the best batsman in the world in that period of time. So I've not got a problem if he's fully fit. Forget about form in Cairn Championship. If he's fully fit, he plays. He bats at 5 because that's where he did his damage last year. The issue has come because with him being injured, young Harry Brook came in to bat at 5 and he's scored 300 in his first 3 test matches. So he's got to play.
Yeah.
But he bats 6. Okay, so that's where do I put Ben Stokes? Because Folkes plays for me. Well, Ben Stokes, there's an issue over the top order, Crawley in particular, the top of the order, averages less than Ben Folkes, less than any of them. So, be creative. Stokes, go open the batting, son. Because A, you can dictate the game from there. We've seen him that he's got the technique. He's probably got the best technique in the team, arguably. I just think it's an easy way out to try and get that top 7 in.
Okay.
And I just don't agree. I hope he doesn't backfire. And look, I don't think it's the end of Folkes. I think you might even see him before the end of the summer because of injuries and form.
This isn't guaranteed to then cascade into the
Ashes.
Ashes, is
well, it? Yes. Well, they've not said so as such, but I don't think they'll name another test unless there's an injury or something untoward happened. That 15. And what I found also surprising that Stokes didn't even get named in the 15. You know, at least you'd think, right, let's take him to Lords or wherever the game against Ireland, at least being in and around, and then
random field in Ireland,
wherever it is, yeah. So it's where you have that holiday place, just like there. At least take him, and then being around, and then obviously you're not going to play. Go back to your county, but not to even be in the 15. There's argument to say that he could even be in as the spare batter because they brought Lawrence in as a spare batter who's got very little stock at international level and has not got a run. So I don't know. The first faux pas, in my opinion, under the Stokes McCullum era.
But
that's my rant.
McCullum's not made any mistakes so far, so maybe you just need to trust the process. And maybe we're not seeing the bigger picture is the fact that maybe he's looking at group dynamics, and that could be an issue with certain characters in groups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
there'll be a lot of things that we're not aware of that we don't see.
Of course, well, I don't think that's an issue with Folkes. I think the problem is, well, not the problem. The problem occurred is because the lad who's come in for Bairstow has scored loads of runs, and you can't leave him out. I mean, he could even open the batting, and then the fact that Bairstow can actually keep wicket, that's the issue.
Yeah. I think you're right in what you're saying is that any sport, whether you play football, cricket, handball, if you get your opportunity and you play well, you deserve the right to keep that shirt. So,
and I think there's been people out there who said, "Oh, is there any should Beresford come straight back in? I disagree with that. I think he has to, because Root, Stokes, him, Anderson are the four that for me are always on the team sheet, whether they're come rain or shine. So like I said, I've not got a problem with Bairstow playing. I'm very disappointed the fact that a year ago, the best wicketkeeper in the world, and he's not playing. You're telling me
that use that word disappointed.
At Australia, if Australia have claimed they've got the best off spinner, the best opening bat, the best wicketkeeper in the world, I'm telling you now, he plays.
Okay, well, we'll see. We will see.
Anyway.
I'm sure we probably all would have had the same rant when Gascoigne got left out of the World Cup squad.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah,
arguably the best midfielder we had at that point. But sometimes things need to move on, Jack. You just need to get over it, man.
No, I am a Folkes fan, and I like the fact that we could have had Stokes, Wokes, and Folkes in the same Test match.
Oh my goodness! Imagine saying that when you've had a few blackcurrants.
We'll try later.
Yes. Right.
Football. What a week!
I'll tell you what. We're going to start with. We have to give a shout out. Sheffield Wednesday.
Unbelievable,
with
Jeff.
The greatest comeback
has to be
in. I'm not going to say in any sport, but definitely in playoff history. There has never been a team come from a 4-0 deficit and end up winning the match.
Incredible. I watched the highlights this morning. Obviously, my brother is a Wednesday fan, and I woke up to a WhatsApp this morning of a YouTube link to the 1993 Wednesday Cup final song. So the maiden both. Yes. It was like, if it's Wednesday, it must be Wembley.
Right.
So I woke up to that link going, they haven't. And they had.
5-1 in extra time. It's
unreal.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
And I was reading, on Twitter, Alan Swan, who is the Peterborough Telegraph sports correspondent, I know Swan, he played cricket against him, and obviously a little bit through journalism. He made it, he said, I had a mate who was clocking the injury time in normal time, and he clocked that there was 6 minutes added, but then there was 1 minute 27 seconds of injury time within that.
All right, okay.
So he said the goal should stand because it was inside the 97-27.
Wow.
So that's from a Peterborough fan.
Let's just hope that Sheffield Wednesday now don't get all the way to the final and then fluff it.
Yeah.
Because there's arguably, it's a strange scenario because you look at the points of the top three from that division, it's a bit like the Notts County Wrexham. Yeah. They were so far ahead of everybody else that you almost felt sorry that Sheffield Wednesday could trip at this point and not get promoted when arguably in any other season the points they've scored would have potentially won the league.
Was it 96, was it?
90, I think they were 95, I think 96, Ipswich were 100.
It was incredible. And they were obviously top for a long period of the season.
They had a really bad spell, probably around about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
where they just kind of lost a few games back to back and then dropped into third, then pushed back up and then finished in third.
I tell you what I did see, I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, a bit of footage from the dressing room afterwards.
No.
And Darren Moore obviously got the lads and he's trying to sort of calm down a bit. So listen, he just talks about the fact, great effort, that's why never say die, that's what we planned, you worked hard, you got your mindset right, everything we worked on came out, does all that. And then Barry Bannon, isn't it?
Really good player.
The captain said, lads, I want to say, and he was class. You don't very often see that. He went, Gaffer, I thank you and the staff for believing you. Because to be honest, there've been many of us in here who didn't believe you on Monday morning or whenever it was.
Yeah.
And do you know, it's a really good insight into, obviously, you talk about dynamics.
Yeah.
Despite the bit of the outside noise from Wednesday fans and some of the ridiculous racist abuse that Moore's had, that obviously inside that camp they were all very together. Yeah. And it's just unfortunate their bad run just came at the wrong time.
It's Bolton Wanderers winning the Bolton Wanderers game, isn't it? For the final?
I mean, massive. When you look in League One, some massive name clubs.
Big clubs, yeah.
Big clubs.
And then we've got our fingers crossed for Salford.
Well, come on, tell them, why is this, Stu?
So beginning of the season, I do this every year. I pick Div 2 team, Div 1 championship team to get promoted. It's part of like a silly little accumulator bet that I do. Pick Burnley, smashed it, money cashed in. At one point, the money cash out was quite high, with Sheffield doing so well.
Yeah.
Salford were the ones I was worried about. Anyway, they managed to creep in, but they've got I think they've won the first leg.
They won 1-0, didn't they? Yeah.
1-0 in the first leg, so it's in their hands. But Salford have been a little bit of a hit and miss. I just thought that they put some money in and they bought some astute signings from other clubs in that division to try and just get them, push them up. But yeah, so if that comes out, it will be a nice little payoff.
Nice little summer earner for you.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. But right, we're gonna move on to the Premiership because it's all got a little bit exciting, hasn't it? obviously City have gone and taken the league.
Yeah.
We expected that to happen. Arsenal have just faltered at the wrong time, which is such a shame because I would like to see them push them right to the end.
Yeah.
But the interesting aspect happened with Liverpool picking up 7 wins in a row, and United, Newcastle just kind of having a little there. And I still live in hope, but I just think we're going to run out of games.
Yeah. It's. I think I said to, it might be some of the cricket boys of the week. They're on about lauding Newcastle and Brighton and stuff. And don't get me wrong, they've had great seasons and have clearly been huge improvements from both sides. But Brighton lose 5 at home, destroy Arsenal, then go get beat last.
Yeah, I got hammered 4-1 last night.
Newcastle in the cup final against Arsenal in the real big games, they've come up short for me.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's not they are in the position they are. Newcastle are probably more so than Brighton now, because the other teams have been so poor. As in Liverpool had such a poor start, and then the likes of United, Spurs, Chelsea, those are the ones you expect to have all had ridiculous periods. Where actually, in a normal season, if any one of those clubs had not had that 6 or 7 game blip, yours at the start of the season, Man United at the start of the season, Spurs in the last 2 months, I don't think neither side will be anywhere near Champions League football.
But interesting thing is that there is one team that could alter the fate of everybody. Chelsea.
I mean, do they play everybody there?
Chelsea don't play Liverpool, but Chelsea do play Man United and do play Newcastle. I know that Newcastle, after that win, they only need 1 win out of the last 2. United need to win 2 out of their last 3.
Yeah.
Liverpool obviously need to win all 3. So it's just made a little bit more interesting because we saw the City juggernaut come in, and I can't see them not winning the treble.
No, I mean, I think the writing was on the wall with that when they turned up against Arsenal that day.
Yeah.
What was it? 3 weeks ago, 3 Wednesdays ago, 4 Wednesdays ago.
You look at when they've turned up at home against the big teams. They've rolled Liverpool over like there was nothing, rolled Arsenal over like nothing, and then rolled Real Madrid over. And let's be honest, that scoreline could have been severely worse for Real Madrid. And Courtois has made some unbelievable saves at key crucial
somebody
times.
said, I think I read something, I didn't see it, but seen the highlights and the goals and read the report. Somebody said that if it wasn't for him, it could really have been 10.
Yeah, it
without anybody batting an eyelid.
There was 2 headers from Haaland right at the beginning of the game, and he's made some great saves, and he's made another great save to somebody else. And you're just thinking, add them 3 on because not many keepers would have saved them.
Yeah.
That's suddenly gone from 4 to 7.
Yeah.
And I think he made another save which tipped it onto the bar in the second half. But yeah, they just look just a different beast. And
yeah, I think it's just unrelenting. You talk about like McCullum getting a mindset, and I know we've in the past talked about like the great other sports sides, like the New Zealand rugby side and that. And I think Pep's got to be up there because it's all right people saying, they broke FIFA fair play and I've got all this money. But I don't care. We've seen plenty of sides spend loads of money.
Everton being an example of that.
Look at Chelsea.
Loads of money. Chelsea, but even worse.
And you're telling me that some of the players that Chelsea bought over time, at that period of time, are loads worse than what, say, like a Jack Grealish was, for example, when he come in? I think what Pep does is he's unrelenting in his own work ethic. He expects the very best from his players, and he improves players. I don't think there's many top managers that improve top players.
No, I think it'll be interesting because he's so intense is how long he can actually continue and sustain that for.
Yeah.
So I wonder if at the end of the season, after he's done the treble, is that one of them where you just suddenly sit there? And this is the hardest bit. I'm doing a lot of reading about that Alistair Brownlee book that you got.
It's good, isn't it?
Really good book. And it's about that mindset of getting to the top, but then when you're at the top, it's that being able to maintain it. That's another kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And then if he finally hits that treble, finally gets the Champions League, what City are we going to see next year? Are we going to see a City where suddenly they just go, we've finally done it? Or is he going to be able to squeeze a bit more out of them to try and maintain that?
Or does he rip it all up and start again? As in players or a different system?
He could just go
because that's the kind of guy he is.
Could just go to another big club.
Yeah, we'll just go. Anyway.
So what we're going to quickly discuss is Manager of the Season nominations. So this is just for the Premier League. So you need to take into account. You can't take into account Champions League football, FA Cups, League Cups, anything like that. So Arteta's in there.
Yeah.
De Zerbi, which is the Brighton manager. Emery, who took over Villa at 17th.
Yeah.
Around 17th. Pep's in there. Eddie Howe. Silva from Fulham. So interesting. So I'll quickly run through my thought process. Is that Arteta has done a fantastic job to get them where they are, but unfortunately ran out of steam at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But you'd argue that that even when they lost players, I think the last couple of injuries at the defence has really got them a little bit caught out. But he's made some key signings. I think Chelsea to get rid of Jorginho, who arguably was up for Ballon d'Or a couple of seasons ago, is a ridiculous move, but also a clever move from Arsenal. So I think he's in with a shout. The Brighton manager, I might be pronounced this incomplete correct, but De Zerbi. I thought when he took over from Potter, I was like, who's this guy? This is never going to work. You've just sold Trossard. You've just got rid of this person. Your squad keeps getting depleted. But yeah, other than the form of late, they've been a phenomenal watch.
Yeah.
What a team and the way, the style they play football. So I think if you begin the season, Brighton, change of manager, you're not thinking they're anywhere near the top 5, 6, 7, and realistically they could finish 6.
Yeah.
Unai Emery has come in with the same squad, not really any additions. Took over from Gerrard, organised them, quietly gone under the radar, and up until maybe about a month ago, they were in a slight outside sniff for a potential.
Well, they still could
European
finish
place.
above Spurs.
Yeah. Pep's just done what Pep does. I think you take Pep into consideration that you'd expect City to finish first. We know that. Yeah. It's what they've done outside the Premiership. Eddie Howe, without any major buys, it's not like he's gone and flashed the cash and brought in X, Y, and Z. Isaac's been probably the only key man. But I think for them, the biggest movement for them was Joe Linton into his new position.
And I would say the form of Almar as well. Basically, they both added goals to the game. Yeah. And Almar's had a bit of an injury.
And then the other one is Silva, that considering probably a nailed on at the beginning of the season, Fulham a yo-yo club that go up and down. Yeah. He's got them some continuity. Got the best out of Mitrovic, who never really had a chance in the Premiership.
No, we've talked about that before.
Up until the point where he got his ban. We'll not talk about his ban, but was one of them that you were like, fancy football, he's an easy pick.
Well, because we've said before, I know we've said before on this show, that if you're a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer. And I just don't understand why he's never been given a go by Fulham, and why when people look for a second striker, and I'll always bring Spurs as that because you're going to have to go for a second striker under Kane, why they've never gone to a lower league club. Because if you know that, if you're a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer. Look at even Tony, he scored goals, up until his bath, he scored goals in every single division. Yeah. And he's not playing any different.
No.
So I'm pleased there for Mitrovic, actually.
So out of them 6 managers, I'm going to count you down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to shout your manager out. At the same time, I'm going to shout mine out.
Go on then.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pep.
How? Ooh, interesting. My Pep.
Just because of what we just talked about earlier, I just think the intensities, and I think that
can't take into account Champions League.
No, I just think that the way he improves players, the way he plays the game, the way they've hauled back in Arsenal. I did see a funny meme about something about Guardiola. Guardiola plays cheat level. He gives them an 8-point lead, gives them the number 2, sells 3 of their best players to the close opposition, and still going to win the league. But I don't know. For me, the others are obviously all worthy. I think I can't see past him.
Yeah, I think Pep will end up winning it. But
I'm not saying
that'll be taken into account the fact that he'll be on the verge of doing the treble.
Yeah.
But for me, I think what Eddie Howe's done in a team that was,
like you say, it's a very fair point. In fact, there's not a lot different to what Bruce had.
No.
The difference is, though, isn't it? I think we talked about this on the podcast about Bruce when he was out, and with Stu Burtwood from the Rally Red. Was it actually they had better players than the system or the style he was trying to play? You know, like, Man City come at home, we're just going to a low block and just defend with 10 men and go from there. They were always better than that, but I don't know whether it's just not his philosophy but Howe certainly made a difference, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, interesting. So what's your viewpoint? Who do you think is going to win it? Let us know. Give us a shout out.
Yeah, tricky one probably.
Definitely. But I've completely fumbled in every type of fantasy football event, competition that's involved in the Premier League one. The only one I'm still in the sniff with is the in-house group of 8 for the draft version. So we've got 2 games left, Jack. The interesting thing is, if I win this weekend, Charlie plays Nick Asher 2nd versus 3rd in the last game of the season. And that means that Charlie won't be able to win it. but he could stop Nick Ashworth from winning it.
Oh,
So it's
there
very
we go.
interesting.
It's all nip and tuck.
It is very nip
What
and
you
tuck.
need to do is play fantasy cricket.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know any players.
Jack Luffman, that'll do.
All right, well, there we go. But end of the day, Jack.
What do we know?